guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Luni and this is our first video on YouTube. Yay! First off, I just want to say thank you for even clicking on this video. I know there's a lot of other videos you guys could be watching, but I really appreciate that you're spending time with me. And just for like your background, this is like going to be my little book talk space. I plan on doing a little bit of a longer format, so I actually started my like book review slash book content journey on Instagram earlier this month, and this will be my first full month doing it. And the idea is that I kind of wanted to share more information about books than just like here's 5 stars or here's 4 stars and like this is why I didn't like it. I have more to say. So I wanted to find a place where I can just kind of share that information with you guys and you know, have that information for my own records as well, because I like to keep a little reading journal for myself. So if I can have a place where I can upload some of that content, I can kind of keep that for myself too. So the idea is that, you know, this space will kind of serve that purpose for me. And yeah, I just feel like I fell back into books. I used to be an avid reader back in like high school, and then fell out of reading when college started, because let's be real, we were all busy reading our textbooks instead. And yeah, and so because of that, I kind of rediscovered reading. And for me, that book this year was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Read it, loved it. I would love to do actually a video series on it, especially with the 3rd book release coming out. So yeah, stay tuned. I think that will be something that I do next. I love reading romance. That's just been, you know, something that's stagnant in my life the whole time. I've done a bit of self-help, but now I'm really just reading for fun, like my own consumption. So romance, fantasy. I love magical realism, which I think kind of falls in the fantasy era genre. And then yeah, so honestly, I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to see all the friends I make here, because honestly, that's honestly what I'm here for. That I just want to be able to talk about books and share my thoughts with them and find people who also have similar thoughts. So yeah. I feel like I'm missing one, so that's concerning. Alrighty, so in the month of March, I actually got to finish 5 books. I didn't do any audiobooks and I didn't do any Kindle. You guys can probably see already the first one here, but these are the 5 books I completed in the month of March. And honestly, it was a really good month for me. I think all these books I rated at 4-star or higher. And so I'm gonna do a quick deep dive on each one of them and then go from there. Alrighty. So first off, I started the month off with A Court of Mist and Fury. I started the series last month, or actually, I get so confused with the months, but basically I started A Court of Thorns and Roses in February, right after I got off the whole A Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So those are the books that kind of kicked my reading back this year. I picked them up in January, and I breezed through those 2 books. I got a little bit too obsessed, honestly, and then I didn't know what else to read when it came to those books, and so I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses because I was highly recommended. Anything by Sarah J. Maas was really recommended, and so I read that, fell in love with Tamlin, right? That's what happens. That's the thing that we all go through. And then I picked up this book right after, and oh my god, guys, 5 stars. It just picks up where A Court of Thorns and Roses left off. And if you guys are not familiar, I'll probably put in a little excerpt, a little summary here. But I rated this one 5 stars. I feel like it had a good balance of everything, like mixed emotions. You had romance, you had action. All of that was like in this book, and oh my gosh, I try to stay away from spoilers. I feel like you really can't when you're on Bookstagram for this book. I heard a lot about chapter 54 and 55, which, spoiler warning, right? Chapter 4, 54, and 55. when I got to those chapters, I think I was like crying through all of 54, and then when I got to 55, I was like, guys, it's too hot here. Like, I can't contain this. So, really love this. I'm doing this thing with Sarah J. Maas because I breezed through Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Iron Flame, I can't even talk. I'm doing this thing now where I'm just trying to read one Sarah J. Maas book a month. It's also good for my like reading diversity because I just don't want to be, as much as I love romantasy, and that's like, I didn't even know that was a thing until when I finished Iron Flame. But as much as I love this genre, I just don't think I can just go back. Like, I'm pretty sure I can, but I just don't think it's like mentally healthy for me. So we're gonna just do one book a month. I just started Court of Wings and Ruin. Finished part 1 yesterday, and that's gonna take me into April, and the idea is that like I'll have that to review in April. So this one, 5 stars, loved it. So far my favorite in the series. I also rated A Court of Thorns and Roses 5 stars, and I know that gets a lot of mixed reviews, but that one 5 stars, this one 5 stars. I loved it. After that, I was like, I needed a break, so I picked up Alone with You in the Ether, and oh my gosh, 5-star read, so good. I do think that the book has to find you during the right time, and I say that because I picked up this book almost 2 years ago, just because it was like trending at that time, and then when I started it, I think I went through like 3 pages of it and said I can't do it anymore, and I put it back down. You really just kind of have to be like, I think the book kind of will find you when you need it, but it's romance, a little bit of fantasy, fantasy in the fact that like it's, the love is so, actually let's take that back. It's romance, not very much fantasy, but it's so much love that it just almost makes me feel like I believe in magic, I believe in love. And so that's kind of like what this book was for me. This was also my first book by this author, and opened my eyes. I know she wrote The Atlas Six, which I have also on my TBR to read, and so I'm excited to read that soon. But Alone with You in the Ether will always have a place in my heart. Aldo and Reagan, who are the main characters in this book, will always have a place in my heart. I truly fell in love with them, and I cried with them. I've experienced so many stages of love with them, and I feel like that's what made me really just like give this book 5 stars, because I just felt it's so real. There's actually, I don't know if you guys know Wongfu Productions, but they have a skit that's a really long time ago at this point, but it's called Strangers Again, where it follows like a relationship from start to finish, and that's kind of what this book was for me. So it made me believe in love, which is always a good feeling, and that's like a hopeless romantic. That's my thing, right? And then the third book I read this month was Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which, like, again, I don't really have the best pronunciation, so I'm gonna try my best here. Oh my gosh, so I felt like I wanted to get back into the whole romance and fantasy genre. I just didn't want to commit to a bigger book or a thick book, so I picked this one up with the hopes that like, oh, it's not gonna be too bad. I literally, okay, so it was hard to get into. So I love, first off, Ali Hazelwood is one of those authors I would just buy without even guessing, hence this book. I knew that she wrote a fantasy that was different from her usual STEM related things, and I know she has a young adult novel also out that was also is different from, but I saw that this was fantasy, and me just like diving into fantasy first, vampires and what, werewolves, like, come on, that's your Twilight girly right here, right? So I picked this up thinking that it's just gonna pick up right away. She actually builds her own world in this book, and I think that's why it took a little bit to get into, because usually with her books I feel like you can just dive right in, you're set, ready to go. She doesn't really take that much time to like set up her characters. It's kind of, because like it's the real world, right? But this book, because she's setting up her own world, it's a place where humans exist with vampires and werewolves. It needs a little bit of an introduction, and I think that part was kind of hard for me to get into. So the first, like, I think quarter of the book, I didn't really feel anything much for it. I was like, oh, like, get this over with. I mean, the main characters were funny and cool, but yeah, I just didn't care much for them. And then the moment we got to the middle half, and like the story kind of started picking up, and there was a bit of a mystery, a bit of like drama happening in the background, I did eventually fall in love with this book. If you know, you know. If you know, you know that this book has some interesting concepts, such as nodding. If you guys know, you know. I'm not gonna get into too much detail here, but yeah, overall, very interesting. I would have to say that there are those parts where the book's kind of, um, you know, like she does her thing still. Like she does her craft very well in this new space, and I feel like I would love to see more things from her like this. There at the end, there's a little bit of a teaser that was like potentially maybe something could happen. So, um, maybe, and I will be the first in line to get it. But yeah, just a little bit of a ramp up, but once you get there, you'll get there, and I like that. There are some really cute phrases, a lot of little funny puns, which Ali nails, right? She's awesome at that, and so love that one. And then I don't know why I was feeling a little bit of like more fantasy but a bit more serious, because the past, like, it was like serious and then a little bit of like fun. So I picked up Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I think that's how you pronounce her name. This is my first read by her. I know she has the whole Shadow and Bone series. It's also on Netflix if you guys want to watch it or anything like that. But I've never watched it, never read it. I've heard of her name just because of that Shadow and Bone series, but I didn't really hear much about this. And then the main thing about this book that really captured me at the bookstore was the cover. Like the typography, the way that the snake runs up the book, amazing. Now, if you thought the world building in this book was heavy, this one takes it to the next level. There's a girl named Alex Stern. She's a kind of a delinquent kid, to summarize it. She's like, I think they say stuff about, yeah, like she has dead-end jobs. She actually is also a sole survivor of a multiple homicide event that takes place. And then you learn that she goes into the freshman class of Yale University, which is an Ivy League. So like with that kind of background, you learn more about Alex's story. You learn about the secret society that the Yale University has. So like the whole setting of the world, she dives into this book. A lot of it you don't really need to know, honestly, to complete this book, but she adds a lot of that. And I'm assuming it's because like her next books will explore more of that, and she doesn't have to explain it as much in detail in those parts. But this book really dives into that. And honestly, I never read the Dark Academia series before, and so reading this opened my eyes. I truly loved that experience. And then when towards the end, it's very similar to like the Sarah J Maas books. Like it kind of like does the whole build up, and then at the end, like everything goes crazy mode. That's the best way I can do it without like cursing. But at the end, it's just fast paced, right? Like everything is just thrown. You're just thrown in there to like just embrace for it all, and it's crazy, so crazy. But I love the journey. I gave this an easy 4 stars as well. Well, I don't think I actually talked. It's like these two I gave 5 stars, and then these two I gave easy 4 stars. I almost could see myself giving this a higher rating, but it was just a lot of dry material. And then like the funnier thing is, at the end there's like a guide to all the secret societies, which if you're reading this book, don't flip there unless you want to know. But I felt like that would have been such a helpful guide if I had at the front of the book. And so that was kind of that. And yeah, there is a bit of spice, and I would say she like kind of like, it's like a salt spice, like she just like sprinkles it in and through the book, and it's enough to get you going if you're a spice kind of girl. But I feel like you wouldn't really enjoy this if you're looking for a spice specifically. It's very dark magic, fantasy heavy, and I'm saying dark magic like, you guys might be like, oh, like what kind of dark magic? Like I'm talking like ghosts, you know, I'm talking about dead people here. So that, and then there are actual trigger warnings for this book, so I would recommend referencing that list before you jump into the book, in case that might be something that bothers you, you know. If that's something that bothers you, I would make sure you read through that before you jump into this. So another 4-star. I can't wait. I have Hellbent ready to go. I think it's gonna be a 3 series. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard or I saw somewhere that it's gonna be 3 series part. So I'm just deciding if I should just wait until the 3rd one comes out or what, or at least the announcement comes out, because like I cannot wait. When I finished the Iron Flame, guys, the struggle was real, and now, oh my gosh, we have like the 3rd book details and whatnot. But anyways, I'm getting distracted. Ninth House, great book. I will recommend, and then I'm excited to read Hellbent. Last read for March was The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Again, a first time reading this author. I actually just saw this book. So there's one thing that you guys need to know about me, is that I love magical realism. I just love that kind of aspect in books. The Midnight Library, this kind of book. The moment I read the synopsis for this book, I knew that I had to have it. Like it was a non-negotiable. Like I didn't have to get it on my Kindle first and like read through it and then get the book. I was like, I'm gonna get this book no matter what. So I picked it up. I'm not gonna lie, the first part of the book was kind of like disappointing in a way. And I hate using the word disappointing because I feel like, you know, like who is she to really disappointing? Like what like who am I kind of thing. But it just felt like it was so cliche. Like I like I said, because I love magical realism so much, when she uses, I don't want to give out spoilers, but like there are some things that she uses to like kind of point out the fact that, you know, these are these people in the past. And when she did that, I was like, oh my gosh. Like even when she ran into the guy for the first time, I was like, that's gonna be the guy, come on. And then there's like other events that happen, I'm like, that's gonna be connected this way. And honestly, it kind of did progress that way. However, the reason why I gave this book an easy like 4.5, and I couldn't give it a 5 stars because I felt like the whole magical realism, I just had too much anticipation going in, which is my fault really. But the reason why I gave it that high stars without like, because like at the first, when I was first reading it, I was like, this isn't like at 3-star maybe, you know. But the journey was everything. She has such a great way. I didn't know that she actually wrote about like different parts of like heavy topics like that. The way that she writes heavy topics in this book is like a gentle touch from a friend. Like, you know, it's like these topics are so heavy to talk about, right? Even like from people to even to put into words, it's a lot. But the way that she kind of just puts it out there, and then also kind of puts her words in a way that's like comforting almost, so that people who are going through that similar thing can easily like relate slash understand. Like as a person who has like a lot of empathy, I feel like she's very empathy forward in her writings. So yeah, so I love that about this book. Love the 2 characters, love the connection that they had. I think the last like 2 chapters or 3 chapters or whatever, I was just like bawling in tears. I was in so many feelings. There was like one surprise at the end that I really did not see coming at all, and that made me super happy. These are just, yeah, one of those couples that like I'll just think about, and whenever I just need a comfort read, I'm gonna come back to this book because that's what this book is to me now. But yeah, I think it was just such a sweet book, and she has actually another book coming out in June soon, and so I'm super excited to see that. I pre-ordered that. Another book coming out in June called A Novel Love Story, and I pre-ordered that because I am now in love with this writer. I would put her with Emily Henry, and that type of writing where they kind of do a little bit of funny, a little bit of comfort. I love this one. And yeah, so those are my reads. Again, I feel like I had such a great March month, and I'm so excited to bring you guys on this journey, start a little document for myself so that I keep myself accountable when I read, because I know that life gets hard and life gets busy, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to do what makes you happy. And I feel like it's a great feeling to come back to reading after being away for so long. But like I said, for my April, I don't know if I want to do an April TBR list. I think I'm just gonna add it to whatever this month is. Hey guys, jumping in from the future here. It's currently March 29th, and so I wanted to add what we got in store for April, and then see if you guys are reading anything similar, and see if there's more books I can add to my TBR, even though it definitely does not need more books in there. But oh well. Yeah, so currently I am reading A Court of Wings and Ruin. That's the third book in the series, and I believe I'm like about a quarter of the way in, so that will definitely be taking me into April, and hopefully I can review or talk about that book for April. And I also wanted to read one Stephanie Garber book. I say that because I have two books, I think. One is Once Upon a Broken Heart, and the other one's Caraval, that I'm looking forward to read. So I have both of those series on deck to start. So hopefully I can start on that. And I recently actually got a copy of The Dead Romantics, which, let me go get that. I picked this up because of the 7-year slip, and because she had this one. And then the next one that's coming out, I already pre-ordered, and I'll be looking forward to that to read as well. So I'm hoping to maybe read this. It seems like a very short read too, so I feel like it might be just something that I squeeze in there. And then I'm doing an audiobook listening of The Song of Achilles, and that's been good so far. I think I'm like half of the way through, so that will also take me into April. So a lot of things cooking in the kitchen. I don't know if I want to do Hellbent yet, which is the second series to second Alex Stern series, like the one that follows Ninth House. I want to. I know I'm not gonna forget it, so that's not a worry of mine. But I'm just kind of hesitant on starting it. It just takes a lot of emotional toll out of me. What's that? There's the series, the Hades and Persephone series by Scarlett St. Clair, I want to say is the author's name. That's also a series I'm looking forward to start. I just love Greek mythology. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I'm a personal big fan of Greek mythology, which is why I am excited to be listening to The Song of Achilles, but also starting the other book. And then I think that's pretty much it. I kind of just like go by. I don't really have a TBR jar or anything like that, and I feel like if I ever had a jar, I'd be like, oh, this one doesn't really count, so I put it back in. I just follow my mood. Is that what they call mood readers? Anyways, so yeah, so I'll probably just be kind of seeing what's good and feeling what I feel. I do have good vibes about this one. So there's a lot. I know that like April is a springy month, and like people read romance and fluffy stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that. I think I'll just probably read whatever I feel like reading. So yeah, there's that. Just thank you guys again for listening to me rant. I hope that you guys continue to stay with me on this journey, and then let me know if you guys hit me up on Instagram, send me a DM or message me, tag me on a post, and I'm happy to just jump right in and be friends with you guys there. So yeah, bye guys.